Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you finally accomplished some goal or you finally finished some task that you had been working on, but then it didn't feel as good as you had hoped? You didn't get as much happiness or fulfillment out of it as you thought you would. Why is that? Let's talk about it. There was once a wealthy investor who went on vacation to a coastal village in Mexico. And while he was on the beach, he met a fisherman. And he asked him, "How long do you spend fishing each day?" And the fisherman replied, "Oh, just a little while." So the investor asked him, "Well, what do you do with the rest of your time?" And the fisherman replied, "Oh, I sleep late, I play with my kids, spend time with my wife, then I go down into the village and play guitar and hang out with my friends." Then the investor told him, "Well, if you'd be willing to spend a little more time fishing each day, you could build this up into a pretty solid business. You could hire other fishermen to work for you, and eventually you could get into distribution. You could move to New York City and make millions and millions of dollars." And so the fisherman asked, "Well, how long do you think it'll take to get to that point?" "Oh, probably 10 to 15 years, the investor said. And the fisherman thought for a moment, and then he asked, "Well, what will I do after that?" "Oh, that's the best part," the investor said. "Then you can move to a coastal village in Mexico where you sleep late and play with your kids, spend time with your wife, and go into the village each day where you play guitar and hang out with your friends." Unfortunately, it is so easy to fall into the trap that investor was pushing, where you think, okay, I've got to go do these things, accomplish these goals, and then you totally forget about the life that you're actually trying to live. But if I've learned anything in life, it's that a goal should never be the thing you're chasing in and of itself. The reason to pursue a goal is to help create the life that you want to live. It's not about the destination or the day that you achieve the goal. It's about how you're going to spend your time leading up to the goal and how you're going to spend your time after. It's not about the moment of the actual accomplishment. And any time in my life when I've climbed a mountain and I've planted a flag and I thought, okay, now I'll be happy, now I'll be fulfilled, I was always left lacking. And I was always now in this mode of having to go, well, this wasn't what I thought it would be. And then I start looking in the distance and go, oh, there's another mountain that's bigger, it's taller, it's harder, it's more prestigious. If I get to the top, I'll go climb that one, and then maybe I'll be happy, then I'll be fulfilled. But then I get to the top of it and I look around and go, maybe the next one. And I was in this constant cycle of always looking for the next mountain to climb and always wondering why I was left unfulfilled when I got to the top. And it took me a long time to realize that fulfillment does not come in accomplishing goals. Fulfillment only really comes from two places: who you're becoming and what you do for other people. So the first question to ask yourself is, who are you becoming? It's not about what you're doing. It's about the type of person that you're working towards being. And even if you are super dissatisfied with who you are currently, as long as you're growing and progressing and getting better over time, as long as you're on your path, on your way to becoming the type of person you want to be, you will find fulfillment. And you can rest in the fact that you might not be who you want to be, but you're on your way. And this is why so often we find so much joy and fulfillment when we're growing, when we're learning, when we're doing things that are making ourselves better, and why it's a lot of times just dissatisfying when we hit a certain goal or a certain threshold and we kind of look around and go, oh, is this all there is? For example, when someone's trying to get into better shape and maybe they have this goal of losing 50 pounds, while they're in the process of getting to that goal, they feel better about themselves. They're out walking and exercising, they're eating healthier, they're doing all these things because they're becoming a better version of themselves. But then when they get to that point where they step on the scale and they've lost the amount of weight, they lost the 50 pounds, a lot of times it's a moment of, oh, I thought I would feel better. I thought I would feel happier. And they actually felt better and happier on their way to the moment than in the actual moment. I'm reminded of the story of Deion Sanders, who was one of the greatest football players of all time, who went through a lot of adversity, went through a lot of really tough times, and he just kept thinking, if I can get to the top of the mountain, and in his mind it was, if I can just win a Super Bowl, then I'll be legitimate, I'll be bona fide, then I'll feel the fulfillment that I've been chasing. But then he won a Super Bowl, and this is what he says.
The night we won the Super Bowl in San Francisco, I was the first one out of the locker room, the first one home, the first one to bed. And I said, it ain't what I thought it was. Yeah, I'm not even happy.
Despite 2 Super Bowl trophies and millions in the bank, Deion was on the brink of suicide.
You got women everywhere, you still ain't happy. You got clothes galore, you still ain't happy. You got everything you wanted, but you're still not happy.
And so then he thought, well, maybe if I win another Super Bowl, then I'll find the fulfillment that I'm after. And he actually went on to win the Super Bowl the very next season, but it was even emptier than the first time. And he, not too long after that, found himself in a pretty deep, dark place of drug abuse and addiction, and lost a lot of his health. He lost his marriage, almost lost his life, before eventually realizing that fulfillment was not going to come from the things that he was doing. It was only going to come from the person that he was becoming. and what he was going to be able to do for other people. And so if you find yourself in a situation where you're not happy, you don't feel like you're fulfilled, the second question to ask is, what are you doing for other people? What are you doing to become a ladder builder and not just a ladder climber? Because it's a fact of life. The more you take, the less you have. It's one of those weird paradoxes, but the more you give, the more you end up with. And not that you should do it selfishly, I'm going to help you, I'm going to do this for you because then I'm going to get something in return, the universe is going to shine down on me. No, it has to come from a true heart, a pure place of actually wanting to help people. But personally, some of the most fulfilling moments of my life have been when someone else, someone that I was helping, achieved the success that they were chasing after. And it was during the times that I was super goal-oriented and I was chasing after something, I was really trying to accomplish something, and it was all about me, that those are the times where I felt the worst, the most unfulfilling times of my life. And even when I got to the finish line, when I planted that flag on top of the mountain, still, it was just kind of empty. And so I just want to encourage you to look at the things that you're trying to do. What are your goals right now? And are those things leading you into becoming the person you want to be? And or are they leading you to a situation where you can help other people? Again, it's not about the thing, it's about the life you build leading up to it and coming down after it. That's what actually matters. If your goal is to get published, yeah, it's a cool moment when you see your thing there on a store shelf somewhere, but that's kind of it. It's a cool moment. It's not going to be nearly as fulfilling as you hope. And so what can you do in pursuit of that goal to build the type of life that you want to have and to help other people along the way? Because the more you focus on those things, the more fulfilled your life will be. But what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments things that you've done to find fulfillment in your own life. And if you're having a hard time getting things done right now, make sure you check out this video. I think you'll find it super useful when it comes to getting your projects across the finish line. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.